Hello, I'm Anthony Karnowski, and I'm the Vice President of Sirius LED Signs. We're a wholesale distributor of LED signage located in Florida. We sell premium LED signs in both one of the shortest lead times in our industry. In addition to selling new signage, we assist many companies in servicing LED signs of other manufacturers. We have serviced all major brands of LED signs. Please remember us on your new sign projects, and please remember us for any of your sign service needs. Be sure to check out our website for more information on our products and services. If you were sent to our videos by another LED company, please let us know. Okay, let's get down to business. Today we'll be training on Xmplayer Dbstar software. The version used in this training video is Xmplayer 3.144. Feel free to contact us about newer versions of software or any other version questions. We'll start by opening our Xmplayer free software. Windows may display a UAC prompt at launch. We'll go ahead and allow Windows to run this program. Once the program launches, you'll see two windows. You'll see a preview window in the top left corner of your screen, and you'll see a main program window in the center of your screen. The window in the left displays your preview as you build items. The window in the right, again, is for building programs and changing settings on the sign. Well, the first thing that we do when we create a new program is to create a new page. When we think of a program page, we think of our entire display, so the entire resolution of our sign. We want to make sure we have the correct width and height set for our resolution when we get started. For our training videos, we're going to work with a 5x10 resolution, 216 by 120. Once we have a program page, we can go in and add items. We can add items by the menu, or we can add items from the buttons to the right. For our training videos, we're going to work with these buttons on the right. Okay, with our program page selected, we're going to go ahead and add a file window. When we add our file window, it didn't quite fill our whole screen. We can adjust that value numerically, or we can use the full screen button. Now our file window is set to our full screen. We're going to go ahead and add some files. We're going to start by adding some videos to our sign. We can select multiple videos, or we can select one video at a time. We're going to go ahead and select these two. Video types that play best on the sign are going to be AVI, WMV, MP4, and really any video that you can get to display on your laptop computer. We're going to go ahead and click open, and it's going to pull our videos into our file window. As you can see, we've got two videos, an American flag video and a video that's displaying balloons. With our videos, we don't really need to set any settings. By default, the video is going to play from the start of the video to the end of the video. So if you have a 5-second video, it's going to play for 5 seconds and go on to the next video. To the right, if we want that video to play more than one time, we can set a play time, and we can tell it we want this to play for 2 times. The video would cycle twice before it went on to the next video. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add another program page, and we're going to work with the file window again. Our file window didn't fill our screen by default, so we're going to go ahead and click the full screen button. From here, we can add a file. This time we're going to work with images. We could we could select one image, or we could select multiple images. We're going to go ahead and select multiple images, and we'll click open. Image types that work best on the side are going to be JPEG, PNG, bitmap, and GIF images. If we select on each image, we'll see a preview in the top left corner of our display. We're going to start with this animals picture. And we're going to set our entry effect, exit effect time, and stay time. We're going to go ahead and set our effects to random. So what this item is going to do is it's going to enter the sign in less than a second with a random effect. It's going to stay static on the sign for 5 seconds, and it's going to exit the sign in less than 1 second with a random effect. If we watch our preview in the top left corner, we can see our random effect enter, our random effect exit, and our stay time. We're going to go to the next item, and we're going to set this one 1, 1, and 8 seconds. And this time we're going to work with well, let's explain some of these. We've got at once, which runs no effect, random, which cycles through all the effects, and we've got about 47 other effects with different names that do different things. Most of the effects are self-explanatory. Same thing on the exit. We set the no clear, random, at once. No clear ignores the exit effect time. Random cycles through all the effects. At once runs no effect, and the rest of the effects are pretty much self-explanatory. We're going to work with the gradually show and the gradually show. Gradually show is basically a fade in and fade out. So what we're going to work with is we're going to tell it 1 second fade in, 1 second fade out, stay for 8 seconds. So our image will fade in less than a second, hold static on the sign for 8 seconds, and fade out in less than a second. I really like this effect, so I'm going to set it to all my images. So with my second item selected, with my selected effect, I'm going to say apply this to the current window. It's going to confirm that I'm going to apply it to everything under that file window. I'm going to say yes. And now all my items in that file window have the same enter effect, exit effect, and stay time. If I wanted to, I could have applied that to the entire page if I have multiple windows, or I could apply that to everything in the program. Okay, so we're done with files. We're going to move on to text. We're going to create a new page, and this time we're going to work with a text window. So we've got program page 3, got a text window. We're going to set it so that it fills our entire screen. Use the full screen button, or we could set that numerically. With the text window, we have the option to add a text. We can navigate our computer and look for a rich text file, open and import it. Or we can do a new text and use the program's built-in editor. What we would do is we would type our message. So I type my message there on 2 lines. I'm going to select my text, and we'll go over these buttons a little bit. So we get the option to clear our text, which erases all our text. We get the option to open a file, which lets us import a rich text file, an RTF. We get the option to save this. We get the option to save this as a rich text file outside of our program. We get the option to undo or redo our typing. The option to left, center, and right justify our text. With the option to do paragraph indents, bullet points, and we can set 3 colors to our text. We can set a font color, a background color, which is a highlight color, or a full background color, which is our entire screen. We have the option here to select from any Windows TrueType font that we have installed on our computer. With the option to set our font size, we set our fonts bold, italics, underline. We can add a strike through, a superscript, a subscript, and we can do line spacing. I'm going to go ahead and stick with this Tahoma font. I'm going to set our font size a little bit bigger. I went up to a 20, and I can see my preview here. I could probably stand to go a little bit larger with my font. We'll go about 28. Okay? Any text that I have selected gets the effect that I have selected. So I'm going to select just my bottom row of text and set it to bold, italics, underline, and I'm going to set my font color for that bottom row of text to orange. When I click away and unselect, I've got a top line with white text, a bottom line with bold text of the same size with underline and italics. If I wanted to, I can also manipulate the sizes of my text if I wanted some of my text smaller than the other. When I'm all set, I'm going to select all my text. I'm going to center my text. And I may lose my preview when I center my text. When I close this window, my preview will come back. Same idea with my text as my images. I want to set an enter effect, an exit effect, and a stay time. So this text file is going to enter the sign in less than a second, running a random effect. It's going to stay on the sign for 5 seconds, and it's going to transition out of the sign with a random effect in less than a second. Okay, we're going to move on to the next item. We're going to create a new page. We've got a program page 4, and this time we're going to work with simple text. We're going to tell it to our simple text window to fill our entire screen, and we're going to type our message in this little black box. I'm going to do the same thing here. Just going to set it to 2 lines. I'm going to select my text. I'm going to center my text. I'm going to make my font a little bit bigger. If I want to, I can change my font color. Set that to white. Same idea, I can adjust the line spacing. The difference between the simple text and the text, as you probably noticed, is you don't have all the controls associated with a rich text document. There's no bold, italics, underline, superscript, and strike through. We're going to go ahead and set our entry effect, exit effect, and we're going to set a stay time here of 6. We're going to say push left and move right. So this item is going to enter the screen, pushing left. Going to hold on the screen for 6 seconds, and then it's going to move right to exit the display in less than a second. We're going to go ahead and add another program page. This time we're going to work with scrolling text. When we create scrolling text, it's always going to default to 32 pixels high and the full width of the screen. For our training purposes, we're going to go ahead and set this to full screen so we get the full effect of what this is going to do. When we use scrolling text, we would be displaying a long message across the sign. So we're going to type a really long message. And so that we get the full effect, we're going to select all our text and make it quite a bit larger so it fills a little more of the screen. Just below our window, we can set our travel time. We'll cut that travel time in half. That controls, as you can see, how fast our text moves across the screen. We've got a stay time. Set our stay time to 4 seconds. As the message travels through the screen, if we set a stay time, our message will stop at the end of the message and hold, as shown in the preview window. We'll watch that one more time in our preview window. So as we scroll through with that stay time set, when this message gets to message, it's going to hold that item on the sign for 4 seconds. Another way to To use a scrolling feature, we'll set the stay time to 0. And at the end of our message, we'll add some spaces between the end of our message and our final character. If I don't want anybody to see my final character, I'll set it to a 3 size font. And as you can see in the preview window, it's a little bit different now. Instead of stopping it at the end of the message, it's going to display space before the message starts over. We'll watch it through one more time. And there's our space. And there's the beginning of our message again. Okay, moving on, we're going to create a new page. And this time we're going to work with a sensor. We're going to set our sensor to the full screen. And we're not going to display the humidity. And there's really no reason to display a brightness reading. We're going to set our temperature to display in Fahrenheit rather than Celsius. And if we want to, we can even type text in front of our temperature display. So today would be a hot 37 degrees Fahrenheit. The 37 degrees Fahrenheit is always going to be displayed in the preview because the sensor at the sign is actually going to read the function set from the program and display the actual temperature. So for all intents and purposes, you'll always see on your computer 37 degrees Fahrenheit. Over here to the right, we can make an adjustment to our temperature. It's a global adjustment. So we can tell our temperature, read 2 degrees hotter, 3 degrees cooler, 7 degrees hotter, 6 degrees cooler, whatever value we want to enter, in negative and positive. We can set our font style for our temperature display. We can set our font size. We want to make that a little smaller, a little larger. And if we can't find a font size there, we can always type one in. Set our font color. Set these to white. And if we wanted to, we could set a background color as well. If we wanted to move our temperature display a little more center to the screen, we could use the move all down. So we're a little more center on our screen. With the sensor function, we don't see any of those controls where we can control the enter time, the exit time, and the stay time. With the sensor function, we're going to set that at the program page. So we'll select the program page above our sensor function, and we're going to tell it rather than play one time, we're going to set it to seconds. And we're going to set this to play for 5 seconds. The sensor function defaults to a play time of 60 seconds if we don't set anything. So essentially what we're doing is we're telling the program page to only play for 5 seconds, and it'll stop that sensor from running the full 60 seconds. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add a new page. And we've got program page 7. This time we're going to do a digital clock. We're going to tell the digital clock to fill our screen. And we're going to go ahead and add all the items so we can see all the functions available in the digital clock. So we're going to say week, AM, PM, and we're going to shrink our font down a little bit so we get everything up on the screen. And then we're going to add our display text. And we'll say display text. Okay, so as you can see, if we have all the items selected, we're going to have 5 lines of information. And you can see where those lines are going to be. The display text is the top line, then the date, then the day of the week, then the time, and then if it's AM or PM. Okay, most customers, what they do, they don't want to display all this information, they just want to display the date and time. So we're going to go ahead and delete our display text. We're going to set our font a little bit bigger. We're going to go up to about a 24, maybe a 32. Yeah, 32 looks good. We're going to turn off our day of the week, our AM PM, And we're going to turn off the seconds. We're going to go ahead and set our format for our date. We're going to say month, day, year. So 1/15/2016. And our time is 9:08 a.m. We're going to tell our year to display as a 2-digit year. If we wanted to, we could tell our month to display as text, or we can display it as a digit. And we're going to tell our clock, rather than display a 24-hour clock, we're going to tell it a 12-hour clock. Okay? Same idea with the digital clock as with the sensor. We don't have any adjustments, or we don't have any functions to where we can tell this to play, enter for a second, exit for a second, and stay on the sign for 5 seconds. By default, the digital clock is going to hold on the sign for 10 seconds. So just like the sensor, if we wanted to play less than 10 seconds, we're going to go to the program page. We're going to set a play time of 5 seconds. So we've run through all the basic functions and the most used functions that you're going to use with the Xmplayer 3 program. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and save our program. So we're going to say File, Save As, and we're going to go ahead and just save this program to our desktop so we can look at the files that gets created. We're going to call this one Training. And we're going to go ahead and preview those files on our desktop. So as we create our program, we get a playlist file that gets created, and we get a folder with all our media that gets created. It's a good idea, as we're working with those, that we keep those items together in the same directory. So our playlist and our file folder both get sent to the site. Okay, that concludes our training on Xmplayer 3 basic functions. Be sure to watch for our more advanced functions video, in which we'll show you how to do multiple items in a window and show you a little bit more with the functions and different items that you can do. Feel free to give us a shout if you have any questions about these training videos. You can reach us by telephone at the numbers provided below,